Howdy folks, welcome to the channel. I figured I'd give a short video, let you know what I've been up to with this 340 build. I went through I don't know how long, maybe I'll say 2 months, but it might have been less than that, 6 weeks, collecting parts process. Number one, I sent the crank out. Right there's the crank. That's been turned 10 under on the mains, 20 under on the rods, and we'll take a look at that later. We'll get into how to measure the journals with a micrometer or vernier caliper. I did order, or I didn't order, these are used stock type pistons, 340, 60, I'm going to say 68 to 71. Not exactly sure when they went low compression, maybe late 71. But those are the correct standard size 340 pistons. I picked up other connecting rods. The ones I shown in the previous video had some grinding on them. And these seem to be not, played around with. I figured people grind on them to get a few grams here and there for balancing. I figured stock factory style. They should all be roughly around the same weight. I do kind of want a stock style bottom end, so I don't. The other ones were ground on. I knew somebody played around with them, so I just got another set of used rods. Here I have a stock style timing set that I had in my parts stash. It looks to me either to be new or slightly used, but I will check the chain deflection. We'll look at that. I'll set it up and we'll look at the slop in the chain to decide whether to get a new one. For the price of a timing set, it's not worth putting a sloppy chain on your engine. Picked up a set of Edelbrock tall aluminum valve covers. I like aluminum because they seal better than stamped steel, although I would use stamped steel if they were in good shape. I'm not knocking stamped steel stock type valve covers. It's just that after a while, they're 50 years old, they get kind of wavy on the edges. Picked up stock type rocker shafts off eBay. I have a Crane SSH 320 NC cam that I had in storage, and I don't know if you can tell, but there is some pitting on it. I don't think I'm going to be using it, and it's a shame because it's a vintage cam. I really liked it. It's a rough idle cam, Lopey. Maybe too much for the street, but somebody ran it in the car years ago, and I've heard good stories about it. I never ran it. I mean, I ran it, but never on the street. I had it in the engine, in the car, idling. I had a problem. I pulled the engine out of the car. I ended up running a 318 for a while. When I put my 340 back together, I pulled this cam out and put a milder Summit cam in it. These are 360J heads. Not necessarily correct for a 7340. I believe my car came from the factory with X heads on it. They are on the engine. It's in it now with the 202s. And I have a 30 over 340 in it. Nothing fancy in the bottom end. Stock type rods. KB 243 30 over pistons. Keith Black 243 30 over pistons. Stock type. These heads have been going over. I don't know if you can tell, they were glass beaded, clean up. The valve seals are good. The valves are okay. The only thing with these, I know for a fact the guides are knurled. Will they work? Yes. Will they last 100,000 miles on a knurl job? Probably not. Will I put 100,000 miles on this engine? Probably not. So basically, I'm on the fence whether I want to send these heads out and get valve guides installed. I don't have to, but I probably should. But they're J heads with 188s. They are what they are. I would probably, I don't know. Like I said, I'm on the fence. If I want to dump money in these heads, I might buy a set of Edelbrock heads. I don't know. Or I might run them the way they are. And, put car show miles on the engine a year. What is it, 1,500 to 2,000, and then it'll probably last for as long as I'm going to run the engine. But that's what they are. Like I said, I believe they would bolt on the engine and work. The crank's been machined. Pistons are used. Rings already installed on them, brand new. We'll go over that, how the ring gaps line up. And I do have another piston laying around. I could show you how to install rings too. When we get into that, I am probably going to get into a series of short videos instead of, 20-minute, half-hour long videos. So let's try and, I'm going to pull off the top of my head what I think I paid for this stuff. I think the valve covers were $50 plus shipping. They weren't $100, but maybe I think with shipping they might have been 70 or 80. The rocker shafts were $100 off eBay, but they came with the rocker shafts, the arms, all the hardware. With shipping, it was 111, maybe 112. The cam and heads already had the rods. I believe I paid $90 plus shipping for the rods, so $120. Pistons were $50 plus shipping. I think they came out to, not quite $100, but over 50, so 80 maybe, 70. I think the shipping was kind of high on them because of the weight. And $250 to get the crank machined. One of the previous videos, there's a picture of the crank. I should have filmed it before I sent it, but I was in a hurry. I should have showed you guys what it looked like before. But anyway. Anyway, here it is back. It looks good, ready to go. The block is pretty much the same as it was. I'm on the fence about that also. I know I can put it together the way it is and run it, and it'd probably be no harm, no foul, but I'm thinking about getting it cleaned up so it looks kind of like the heads, hot acid tanks, get all the rust off it. Everything on the inside, new cam bearings and freeze plugs, and I'd probably pay the shop to do it. The only thing with the shop is they may want to try and sell me an overbore. I already got the pistons. I believe they're going to work. I did my piston taper measurements. I believe they'll seal up and work. The only thing that might make me change my mind, what I might do yet, is I'll put one of these rings in the bores and check the ring gaps with the new rings that I'm going to run in the engine. The other one I used to measure bore taper was like a ring just to get numbers. And somebody did mention it. The gap was really large, and it was. It's too large. I wouldn't run it in the engine. I'm not sure where that ring came from or if a piece broke off, but I probably may do that yet. Okay, as I was saying, I will take the rings that I'm going to use in the bore and measure the ring gap in the bore, and that will give me more information as to whether I actually need to go over. If I can't get the ring gaps to spec, that may be an indicator that we need to go 30 over, whatever the standard machine shop is. I think it is 30 over, but you can go 10 over, 20 over, etc. I believe you can get file to fit rings. I don't know if I would go that route because you start playing around with how the ring fits into piston groove versus how it fits into bore. Another thing I picked up is push rods. I think I got them off Amazon. Elgin. What it had was I was on eBay and I bought a set of push rods. They ended up being for a Magnum. Too short. They had oil holes up the middle. I knew they were the wrong right out of the box. These are the correct ones. I do have a set of Magnums. They're shorter, Magnum push rods. They're shorter because the Magnum engine has roller lifters. But yeah, so the point is, it's a lot of scrounging up parts. I wanted to point out that what I'm finding is maybe 25 to 30% of the cost is shipping. For example, I'll pay $40 for something, and then the person will come back, well, it's $10 for shipping or $12 for shipping. So I rattled off some prices. I want to say I'm coming up on $1,000 into this thing. And then keep in mind, I need more stuff. I need a gasket set. I need an oil pan bolts, bolts for the timing cover. It reminds me, I do have a timing cover somewhere. I got to dig that out, clean that up. But the short version is we are ready to start going together here. So there should be some more video footage coming along on a more regular basis on this build. And that's it for now. I want to try to keep this short. And thanks for watching. See you next time.